What's up, everybody? Jaxxsin here, and today I got a little Nioh Alpha gameplay impressions video for you. What did I think about this? I mean, I was looking forward to this. I saw a reveal trailer for it of some sort on Sony's YouTube, and so like I was aware of this. It looked fun, it looked good from what I saw in the trailer, and so now nitty gritty, how do I feel now that I've played it? Okay, well, I like several of the elements of this game because it's building off of a formula that I enjoy, the Souls formula, okay? So they're taking FromSoft's formula and, you know, they're delivering it in a new format, right? A new way. Now, several games have done this. If you just a couple of examples, and these are only my opinion on, this is purely my opinion. I mean, these are both Souls-like games, but this is my opinion on which one's, you know, like good and which one is done badly, okay? So, for example, you have Salt and Sanctuary. I believe this was a well-done game. Like, whether you disagree with the gameplay, whatever, the actual, like, way that they did it was very good because it was almost a carbon copy of the Souls formula, which is, you know, tried and true, very entertaining and fun and engaging, you know, for players. But they added their own ingredients to it, okay? Now, in order to change things up, you have to add your own ingredients. Now, in the case of Salt and Sanctuary, with the skill tree and other things that they added, I felt like they spiced it up. Like, you know, I enjoyed it, but it didn't feel like, you know, just kind of like a lesser good Souls. Does that make sense? Like a less good Souls. Like, it didn't make me want to play a FromSoft game, right? And so, when that happens, when the ingredients are good and that they've added onto the already existing recipe and they add a little spice and flavor to it, you know, that's a good thing. In the instance of, say, Lords of the Fallen, okay, this is my example of they did it poorly. Okay, in my opinion, Lords of the Fallen just felt like a poor man's Dark Souls. And on top of that, the dialogue wasn't really engaging, the story was kind of boring and bland. You know, like, just the enemies kind of just started to blend together and feel like they were the same enemy that you were fighting all over again, except for this time the motherfucker has armor on, or something like that. You know what I mean? So that's my two examples. So where does Nioh stack up? Is Nioh a Salt and Sanctuary in my book, or a Lords of the Fallen? Well, you can't really make that call at this point because this is very early on in development. Like I said, like, all the dialogue is in Japanese, you know, this is very early on. Now, the things I like about it, I can see that being very cool is at the, you know, what you would call the bonfire. It's a shrine to a god, and you can actually choose a different god, and this affects gameplay and combat mechanics or some sort of way, you know, and this is very cool. I like that they did that. I like the leveling up. The leveling up feels a lot like Dark Souls, but in order to spice it up, there's these scrolls, and I really didn't get in too much into these because there's no real tutorial at play. So I'm sure if I googled something, I'm sure someone somewhere has taken the time to figure this out. I just didn't really care to. I just kind of wanted to explore the first little area, get a feel of the combat. Now that's when that brings me to the combat. So there's issues with the combat in several ways. The dodge feels kind of clunky, and that may be due to loot because there are weight loads, and, you know, that may be due to what I have equipped, but what I have equipped is just stuff I find in the first area. So is it going to be like Dark Souls? Am I going to have to rock it naked for a while? I didn't, you know, and so I tried it both ways. I kind of took stuff off and then put stuff on. The dodge did get a little faster, but it still felt clunky. It still felt like it was a little unintuitive to where I needed to go. You know, in a Dark Souls game, if I need to go somewhere, I need to dodge a direction, it kind of responds to that and I can feel it, okay? And like with this, I was oftentimes dodging one way, but it felt like I wasn't going where I wanted to go, and so like this caused a few deaths of mine where I was like, what the fuck? Like, I dodged one way and then there was no, you know, it just didn't go the way I needed it to go. And I mean, I'm no hardcore, you know, Henry, but I'm not a scrub either, and so I kind of know how to play video games. And when I go to dodge, I kind of expect, I know how to dodge, and it just felt clunky. It felt clunky to me. Now, another problem I had with it was every so often, for some reason, during the course of combat, dodging, and I didn't really have this happen when I was running, but it happened a lot during combat. Is I would be attacking people, and then all of a sudden my character would just freeze, and he would stand there for about half a second or more. I couldn't tell. It felt like an eternity when you're surrounded by enemies that can kill you in 2 or 3 hits. But he would just stand there and pant. And I needed to dodge, I just got done with my combo finally, and like, so what this is if you notice the bar, there's like that red clip that stays up and then like the blue fills up to it. It's weird. There's like another level of the stamina bar. They call it ki in this, but there's like another level to it that you have to be wary of and pay attention to. And I think this is like they're trying to deliver ninja-like combat, right? Ninja-like combat, So like you want to work on combos, you want to work on being very, methodical with your attacks, making, it's not, maybe they're trying to say like, this isn't Dark Souls, don't just tap one button until everything dies, right? But as far as the combos go, it was pretty much square, 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 or square, 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 and then there was like, I learned a couple of new moves through this scroll system. I'm not entirely sure how it works, but one gave me a kick at the end of the combo, and all that was square, 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 triangle. You know what I mean? Triangle, 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 square, 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 triangle. Like, it still felt like button mashing, almost a very simplified Devil May Cry style. And it might get more complex and complicated the farther you get along in the game, and that may make the difference. But I'm gonna say this, that the combat, with how clunky it feels right now with that awkward dodge and kind of the way your character will just all of a sudden just stand there and pant and just, that's very troublesome. That's gonna ruin the game. If the combat doesn't tighten up, I will not be buying this game, because I mean, and I may still buy it, because I did buy Lords of the Fallen. I got it on sale for $30, but I bought Lords of the Fallen. I wanted to check it out, and I made it about halfway through that game before I realized that there just, there wasn't a whole lot of complexity to it other than, hey guys, let's make a game like Dark Souls. Like, that's just what that game felt like. It didn't feel like, hey, we love Dark Souls, so let's make a game like Dark Souls, but let's add certain things that we would have liked to have seen in a Dark Souls game. That's what Salt and Sanctuary felt like to me. Okay, now this one feels like they're like, let's make a ninja Dark Souls game. Okay, and in theory, it sounds fucking awesome. But in order for that to work, you gotta have, your controls can't be as clunky as they feel right now. They just can't. I can't feel like I'm stumbling over every movement of my character. If I wanted to feel that, there's plenty of games made 10, 15 years ago that, PS2, that can suit my need for fucking clunky controls, and challenge me that way. But we've come to a point in gaming now where I expect, if I'm buying indie games and the controls are exactly as responsive as my, that quick, because this is all reactionary. Souls is very reactionary, and this is going to be even more reactionary if it's ninja based, because there's going to be some fast ass bosses, right? So you're going to have your character responsive to your mind. If your mind tells your hand to move that or use that button, or your character needs to follow that immediately. There needs to be no disconnect, because this is what the Souls games are. They are reactionary combat. They are to test every, your amount of and that's why the music is so threatening and the atmosphere is so threatening, and that's why those games end up being so difficult. Because side scrollers are a little easier because they're a little more, I don't know, I wouldn't say kiddie, because Salt and Sanctuary was by no means meant for children, but anyway, this is just my opinion on it. I feel like this one has a lot of potential that it's not living up to right now, but it is the alpha, keep that in mind. So it's Nioh Alpha Demo, so this is subject to change a ton. Anyway, that's it for me, guys. Jaxxsin out of here. Let me know below if you got a chance to play this, what you thought. Love you guys. Take care. Keep being awesome.